The hunters had been in these woods all their lives, men with weathered hands and tired eyes, the kind of people who knew how to gut a deer in silence and track a buck for miles by a single snapped branch. Clay drove the old pickup, Dalton rode shotgun, while Mitch and Earl sat in back with the gear. They weren't kids anymore. These were men hardened by decades of backwoods living. But the woods had a way of reminding even seasoned hunters who really owned the land. The truck gave out just after sundown, coughing, rattling, and dying on a dirt trail so narrow the branches clawed at the sides. No service, no signal, and no tools to fix what was broken. With no other option, the four grabbed their rifles and flashlights and started down the trail, hoping it would spill them onto a road or maybe a farmhouse. It wasn't long before they saw the racks. At first glance, the wooden frames looked like the kind trappers made to stretch hides. Deer skins, raccoon, even a black bear pelt. But as the flashlight swept across the line of stretched hides, Dalton froze, the color draining from his face. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. The others leaned closer. Some hides weren't animal, too smooth, too pale. One was unmistakably human, ribcage still faintly visible beneath the stretched skin, fingers dangling limp like forgotten gloves. "You guys know what I'm thinking of," Earl muttered, his voice shaking. Clay swallowed hard. "The hills have eyes," Dalton grunted. "Wrong turn." Mitch, the quiet one, just said, "Butcher Creek." They laughed, but it wasn't real laughter. It was the kind men use to drown out dread. Then came the voice. "Hello, gentlemen." They turned. Out from behind a tree stepped a woman. Pretty, too pretty for these woods. She had striking blue eyes, dark hair spilling over her shoulders, but her clothes were filthy, her feet bare and cut from brambles. "You seem to be lost," she said softly. The men exchanged glances. Dalton forced a polite smile. "Truck broke down a few miles back, ma'am." "You live out here?" She nodded. "Me and my family have lived here all our lives." "Well, that's something," Clay said, scratching his beard. "Think you could point us to where we might get a tow? Or some help?" The woman hesitated. Her eyes flicked toward the tree line as if something in the dark was listening. "It's getting late," she said finally. "Best you come with me. Stay with us till morning." Then her tone shifted, lower, breathy. "Please, I could use a man to keep me company." She laid a hand on Dalton's arm, nails dragging against his sleeve. The hunters looked at each other. Earl chuckled nervously. "Guess we're staying the night." As they followed her deeper, the trees thinned. Their branches grew long and sharp, like skeletal fingers reaching overhead. That's when they saw the sign nailed crookedly to a post. "Skinner's Territory." Dalton slowed. "The hell is that supposed to mean?" "Don't mind it," the woman said quickly. "My husband just likes to show out." The house appeared out of the trees, small and sagging, its roof patched with tin and moss. Inside it was worse, dark, narrow, lit only by guttering candles. The walls were covered in animal hides, the floors carpeted in fur, the chairs wrapped in pelt. Mitch whispered. She said family. "Where are the kids?" At the table they sat stiffly. The smell of iron and rot hung in the air. From upstairs came a heavy thumping, like boots against the floorboards. The hunters stiffened, rifles close at hand. "That's my husband," the woman said with a smile too sharp to be kind. Moments later, he came down. A mountain of a man, grizzled beard, shoulders like a bull, eyes black and cold. He stood at the foot of the stairs and stared. "Oh, honey," the woman said sweetly. "I found these men lost in the woods. Couldn't bear the thought of leaving them out there." The man's lip curled. "Hunters, huh?" "Yes, sir," Clay said carefully. seasoned. The man's eyes widened with a strange gleam. Been hunting all your lives? They nodded. Looks like you've been busy hunting too, Dalton said, forcing a laugh, nodding toward the hides on the walls. The man's face darkened. His voice was low, dangerous. Trophies? You think these are trophies? No one answered. They're victims, he snarled. Every goddamn year, men like you come into these woods, killing God's creatures. Killing just to kill. Leaving their bodies for the scavengers. He stepped closer, pulling something from the shadows. A massive black pelt. It looked like it once belonged to a bear, but darker, unnaturally so. Now it's your turn, he growled. The hunters tensed. Then, before their eyes, he draped the pelt over his shoulders. His body convulsed, bones cracking like dry branches. His fingers split, claws tearing through his nails. His face twisted, nose pushing out, teeth lengthening. Flesh fused with hide. The hunters staggered back, rifles raising. What in God's name? Clay began. The woman screamed, "Run!" They bolted through the door, as behind them an inhuman roar shattered the night. The man exploded through the doorway, furred and monstrous, eyes glowing with rage. The hunters sprinted through the forest, the woman guiding them. This way! I know where we'll be safe until morning. They didn't trust her, but they had no choice. They collapsed in a clearing, lungs burning. We're safe here, she said softly. Dalton wheeled on her, rifle raised. Safe? Lady, you'd better start explaining what the hell that was back there. I don't know, she pleaded, clutching her chest. I swear to you I don't. Lay off her, Earl said, shoving Dalton's barrel aside. She's trying to help. The woman smiled faintly and slipped closer to Earl, pressing against him. Thank you. You're a good man. Later, when the camp was set, Earl and the woman slipped into a tent together. The others pretended not to hear until the noises changed, her soft moans warping into guttural growls, Earl's gasps turning to screams. The tent bulged, shadow shapes thrashing violently, then silence. The flap burst open. She stepped out, naked, but cloaked in an all-white pelt that seemed fused to her flesh, her hair wild, her glowing blue eyes burning with hunger. Her face had stretched, mouth lined with wolf's fangs. The hunters raised their rifles, but a thunderous crash shook the trees behind them. The husband emerged, half man, half bear, laughing, blood dripping from his teeth. Husband and wife stood side by side, monstrous silhouettes in the firelight, their eyes locked on the remaining hunters. And then, with howls that shook the earth, they fell upon them together. The woods swallowed the screams. By morning, only the racks stood waiting, new hides stretched alongside the old. We were supposed to be heading to a festival, just cruising down a clear highway, windows down, music blasting, everything perfect. Then Liam saw the unmarked road. Shortcut, he said. We'll shave off at least half an hour. I should have said no. God, I should have. The road was narrow, cracked, swallowed by trees. We drove for a while until we saw a gas station. Old, rusted sign, no sound but the buzzing of a flickering light. Liam went in while we stayed in the car. When he came back, his face was pale. What did he say? I asked. Liam hesitated. He said, "This road only goes one way, and the speed limit's 100. I laughed nervously. Yeah. He said we better fill up the tank, 'cause it's a long stretch. None of it made sense, but we shrugged it off. Festivals don't wait, right? Back on the road, things got wrong. First, it was the roadkill. Rabbits, raccoons, deer. Then cows. Mangled bodies everywhere, like the highway itself was killing anything that touched it. The stink came in waves, and the tires kept crunching over bones. Then I saw the headlights behind us. A massive truck. Black, rusted, its grille smeared red. It plowed over the roadkill like it was nothing, spraying gore across its windshield. "Speed up," I said. Liam floored it. We hit 120. The truck stayed behind us. Closer, closer. Its horn blasted, deafening, shaking the windows. The whole car shook as the beast of a machine rammed closer, pushing us forward, its lights filling the rear view. We swerved to avoid chunks of carcass flying up from the road, hearts pounding, every second thinking this was it. "Get it off us," someone screamed. But the truck wouldn't let up. It was like it was hurting us, forcing us down the road. So we made a choice. Liam jerked the wheel, and the car screamed off the road, tires tearing through dirt and weeds, barely missing a tree. The truck roared past, horn blaring, vanishing down the endless black strip of road. We sat in silence, shaking, the engine ticking. I looked back at the highway. It didn't end. It just stretched on, swallowing the truck in the distance. And I swear, the road moved, like it was alive.